This is the Schmo with the pro, with the number 14th ranked UFC heavyweight, Walt Harris, not to be confused with Will Harris, Anatomy of the Fighter. How we doing?
I'm great, brother, great. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. Hey, guess what? You're known as the Big Ticket. We're in Minnesota. Do you know who is also the Big Ticket? I know you know who I'm talking about.
Kevin Garnett.
KG, man, the Big Ticket. How fitting.
It's perfect, man. My mom actually kind of put me onto that because I was a huge KG fan growing up, and I played power forward in college and high school, so I just ran with it, man. I felt like, she felt like that it was going to be me selling out arenas. That was her vision, and she was like, nobody has that name. Plus, when I first started, I had the assassin, and everybody was an assassin back then, so I felt I wanted to do something different, man. I ran with the Big Ticket.
Obviously lived up to that nickname over there at UFC Ottawa, knocking out Sergey Spivak. Finally, that fight night bonus, yeah?
Finally, bro. It's been a long journey. Shout out to my boy Yair Rodriguez because he's beat me for a couple of them, man. I mean, I literally was one. He was the main event on both fights, and I had a crazy knockout on both of his cards, and he got it, at the last minute. So you still owe me some money, Yair. When I see you, I need that.
Let's get him his money, man. And you got a big fight July 20th, UFC San Antonio against Aleksei Oleinik, who you were supposed to fight, but he stepped up in that St. Petersburg fight to get Aleksei Oleinik, man. But now you're finally getting the boa constructor, the opponent you were initially training for.
Yeah, man. Aleksei's a tough guy, a good friend of mine. I respect him a ton. I actually trained with him for 3 years. So I've technically been preparing for him for like 13, 14 weeks. Pretty much, to this point, I've been getting ready for him. I feel like we're going to meet at some point. So July 20th, I get my opportunity to take the next step in my career.
And you used to train over at American Top Team, man, and then you decided to move camps. What was the decision-making behind that?
There was a couple different factors. The main factor was my son got sick. I needed to come home to be with him during my camp. But another one was that there was a lot of heavyweights moving down there, and I just kind of got felt like I was getting wormed out. And, I needed some personal attention at that point in my career. I needed to be the focus of my camps, needed to be about me, and I felt like I wasn't getting that. I still have a lot of respect for people at Top Team. I still have good relationships with the people at Top Team. But I just need to do something to help my career and focus on me and be a little bit selfish. So that's why I went home.
When you say worn out, what do you mean by that?
I just felt like, there were so many new guys and there were so many there's only so many coaches, and I felt like I wasn't priority, not saying I got to be the guy because I wasn't there in my career yet. You got JDS in the gym, you got Bigfoot was in the gym at the time, so there were guys that had priority, I understand, but I felt like with me being in the UFC and me pushing as hard as I was to be in the UFC, I felt like I needed more attention and more personal attention, and I just wasn't getting that. So I felt like going home was the best move, and it's paid off. It's definitely paid off for sure.
Speaking of coming home, man, you're from Alabama. Deontay Wilder's from Alabama. Roll Tide also, but you were just sparring with Tyson Fury. He kicked your butt, you said.
Man, dude, that dude, I'll be honest, man, I underestimated him. You look at him on TV and you're like, whatever. But getting in there with him and going rounds on a day-to-day basis, man, I got a newfound respect for the art of boxing. Like, that guy is a high-level boxer. He's the best I've probably been in a ring with, for sure.
You think he's better than Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber?
I'm not saying better. I just think at boxing and pure boxing, he's second to none, especially at heavyweight. His movement, his IQ. I think the first week I was there, I don't think I landed a headshot on him. I mean, the dude was slipping, and every punch was barely missing his face. And I told him at lunch, I was like, bro, I underestimated you before I flew over here. Like, he said everybody does. People look at him and they just think, oh, whatever. But he's the real deal, man. I can't wait to see them fight again.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Schwartz, there's a highlight reel of him missing like 4 punches in a row against the Gypsy King, and he does it professionally for a living.
Exactly. That's what I look like, the Tom Schwartz highlight. Like, I was literally punching air. And then, his dad kind of pulled me to the side and kind of gave me some pointers on how to get to him. And so the rounds got, a little bit better. But, I mean, he was clearly he's clearly a better boxer. Like the dude was just that's his lineage. That's what he does. His whole family boxed and fought. So, he's definitely got it mastered, man. He's good. But D's the real deal. Like, don't sleep on D. He hits harder than anybody I've ever been hit by in the UFC ever. The dude packs powerful punch, and he hits me with 20-ounce gloves. So it's something like I've never felt before. So I can't wait to see them again.
He didn't knock you out though.
No. He rocked me though. He definitely rocked me. He set me down one time with a body shot. It was nasty, and I was like, all right, that's a heavyweight body shot. You know what I mean? Like that's a real professional boxing body shot. I've gained so much experience from training with both of those guys for sure.
Definitely, man. And you come from an athletic background, playing college ball, man. You didn't start doing MMA till your mid-20s, man. Mm-hmm. How did that transition happen for you? What was going on in your life to make that transition?
Man, I was at a low point in my life, honestly, when I got into fighting. Me and you play basketball. You know what it's like to play your whole life, do something your whole life, and then kind of go one day and know like I'm not gonna ever be able to do that again. And so I battled depression. I gained a ton of weight, and I was doing a lot of things with my life that I was going down the wrong path. To put it short, and I had a kid. Had my first son, and it kind of woke me up. It made me realize, you need to take that fire that's still in you and use it for good. So I started going to a Gold's Gym back home, running and working out. And an elderly lady walked up to me while I was sitting on the weight bench, and I didn't know why she was walking. I'm like, what's up? She's like, hey, have you ever fought? You thought about fighting? And I was like, well, I fought growing up, things like that in the neighborhood. She's like, no, for money. And she introduced me to my former coach, and the rest is history, man. I fell in love with the sport and took off from there, man. Went 24-1 as an amateur. Was 7-1 before I signed with the UFC. Just winning, and I'm still here, man. So it's been a blessing.
So then what's the ultimate goal for you in your UFC and MMA career?
The ultimate goal is to be the best. Right now I'm streaking. We spoke about the gym change. That has resurged my career personally. I feel like I'm in a place now with Spartan Fitness, SPG all day, baby, where, it's a family. The guys are great, and the system fits me. It fits what I need, and it's taking me from just a good fighter to potentially being one of the best. And I think right now I'm looking at doing 2 more fights this year, hopefully, and then 2020 trying to make a title run for sure.
Absolutely. Anyone you're eyeing, or are you just focusing on the next guy in line?
I keep the focus on the next guy in line for sure, but I watch everybody. That's a lot of the reason I'm here is to kind of peep JDS and Ngannou and the other heavyweights on the card and kind of see where everything shakes down because, the division's wide open right now. Brock retired, so it kind of cleared that log jam. You got DC fighting Stipe, which I think is the right fight. I'm just going to see where I fit in there, man, and call my shot. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Let's get a couple of predictions out of you, man. Okay. So you've been on the mats with JDS. How do you see this fight going down between JDS and Francis?
I think JDS is going to win it. I've trained with him, and the dude's for real, and he's good everywhere. He's not just looking to knock you out. He can wrestle. He can play the jiu-jitsu game, and he's a great striker. So I think he's going to take Francis into deep water, wear on him a little bit, and I think in the 3rd round he'll put him away.
Okay, well said. How about Stipe DC round 2 or match number 2 for these guys?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think DC's going to find a way to win it. I think his wrestling is just so much more superior. And he's confident, and he needs this win, I think, for his legacy more so than anything. So I'm going to say DC, 4th round. I'll say 4th round, just to be safe.
Okay. And what's your one message for all the UFC and MMA fans that are confusing you with Will Harris?
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm the big ticket. And don't ever get it twisted. All right? Love you, Will. I want Anatomy of a Fighter soon, by the way.
He's the big ticket Walt Harris on the Schmo. We're out.